Good evening, everybody. My name is Kim Tavares. I'm the Executive Director of the Miami University Alumni Association, and welcome to Hawk Tank. Before we get started this evening, I did want to bring attention to a change in our program. The very first program that you have listed in your book, or if you're looking online, is Social Identities Abroad, Malaysia. Unfortunately, they have chosen to withdraw from the competition this year, so please keep that in mind as you vote, that we will not be seeing a presentation or the option to vote on Social Identities Abroad, Malaysia. And now I'd like to welcome tonight's MC, University Ambassador, Renata Crawford.
All right, thank you, Kim. Good evening and welcome to Hawk Tank, our fast pitch event that provides the opportunity for Miami women to empower the world. So who's ready to empower the world? There we go. I need a little energy here today. As the ambassador of Miami University and a member of the Miami Women's Steering Committee, I take great pleasure and pride in being here tonight to act as MC for this wonderful program. Since the inaugural Hawk Tank in 2018, the Miami Women's Giving Circle has given away more than $500,000 in support of meaningful programs. Thank you so very much. Those projects have had a tremendous impact on Miami University, and we are so grateful for your support. This year, we had 44 grant applications, and they were reviewed in a broad range of areas: community outreach, mental health, research, arts and culture, and many more. Our grants committee had a difficult job narrowing it down to the 19 finalists you will see tonight, seeking funding from the Miami Women Giving Circle. The Miami Women Giving Circle is a collective giving effort that allows participants to combine resources with other members and make a greater impact on the Miami community. The collective power of each member's annual $1,000 gift creates a large pool of money that funds multiple vital projects. The final determination of which projects receive funding is in the hands of the Miami Women Giving Circle members. Their $1,000 annual commitment has earned them the power of the vote. While we have many joining us in the audience and via live stream, I'd like to ask the Giving Circle members with us tonight to please stand and be recognized. Thank you so very much for your support. You have a difficult job today because we have 19 projects with a total ask of nearly $204,000. This year's Giving Circle Fund is $125,000. So you get a tough job because you get to determine which groups will be selected to receive that funding. We thank the entire Miami community for its continued support. If anyone in attendance tonight is inspired to join the effort of the Miami Women Giving Circle, no worries. We have the information at the registration table or at the QR code on your flyer. All right, you ready? Let's get down to the task at hand tonight because our presenters are nervous, they're ready, they're excited, and they're amazing. Voting members have a booklet in front of them containing details on each of the 19 finalists. The listing is in pitch order, which was randomly selected. Non-voting members can scan the QR code to access the additional information. Each of our 19 finalists have spent the last several weeks practicing their pitch for tonight. Working with Beth Troy, an assistant lecturer in the former School of Business, they have crafted their individual 3-minute presentations. Voting members, please listen very carefully and make notes. Voting on the projects will open after the last presentation and remain open until 9 p.m. Eastern Time. But don't worry, we'll go over those details a few more times by the time the last presentation ends. In order to respect the short time of all presentations and allow our voters and panelists to hear, please silence your cell phones and step outside with personal matters and keep conversations to a minimum. If you're ready, let's get started and introduce our first presenter. Re-entry challenge, a simulation of re-entry into society after time in prison, presented by Tina Reedy.
Congratulations. You just got out of prison. So, your very first task is to find housing. Unfortunately, this is your first night out. You don't have any money, you don't have any transportation, and you don't have anywhere to stay. This table right here, do you choose to sleep in the nearby park? It looks safe and clean. Or do you choose to find somewhere else to sleep tonight? All right, so you choose to sleep in the park. Awesome. You're fast asleep, and then you're woken up by a police officer. You're not supposed to be sleeping in this park, you silly goose. You go back to jail. Okay, next up, this table over here. Congratulations, you've been out of prison for a few weeks. You've secured housing. Now you need to get a job. Unfortunately, you literally only have $25 to your name right now. And even though you have an interview coming up, you have to make a choice. Do you get a presentable outfit for this interview? Or do you spend the money on transportation so that you get to the interview on time? Which one is it? Outfit or transportation? Excellent choice. So you impress your almost about to be boss. You show up on time and you look a hot mess. They don't take you seriously. They don't think you're ready. And you honestly, this was never going to happen. You don't get the job. Your parole officer is upset with you. They're a one strike kind of a guy, and you end up back in prison. Nice try. All right, raise your hand for our third and final simulation. This table over here, you look spunky. So you have housing, amazing. You have a job, incredible. Guess what else you have? Fees from the county, because it wasn't enough that you just did your time. You also are being charged a ton of money while doing your time and afterward. So you owe the county about $500. Unfortunately, that's also how much it costs to rent your apartment. This month, do you pay your overdue fees or do you pay for rent? You pay your overdue fees. Excellent, excellent choice. You got the county off your back, but guess what? Now you're homeless. Also, since you're homeless, you lose your job, and guess what? You are back in prison. So, this was just a small sample of an online simulation that my project partner, Dr. Jessica Warner, and I have been working on. It is an online digital simulator that we need Hawk Tank money to make more comprehensive and get out to more students. Our comprehensive online simulator will walk through 1,000 different scenarios that real life people have to get through all the time. This problem, the cyclical problem, is costing the taxpayers millions of wasted dollars and tons of human suffering. Please help us break this cycle.
All right, thank you, Tina. Our next presentation, the Arthur Miller Memorial Garden, would have been presented by Emma Loomis. Unfortunately, Emma cannot be here due to unforeseen circumstances. So we ask that you take these 3 minutes, because that was her speech time, to please take these minutes to read her project description, whether you're looking through the QR code and look online or in your booklet. all still very quiet. You may talk now. I think that was about 3 minutes, right? In physics, we round everything. And I know Morgan is probably really ready. She's like, this seems really long time of waiting. Our next presentation is bringing Miami University Formula SAE program into the electric world, presented by Morgan Frederick.
Hi, I am Morgan Frederick. I'm an engineer, head captain, and a driver for Red Hawk Racing. As a team, we are part of SAE, which is the Society of Automotive Engineers. And within, we have 3 sections. One is Baja Off-Road, Business, and an Emerging Formula program. The goal of this club is to immerse students into a company-like environment before they're in the real world. In this way, they're free to make any mistakes. They can take on tasks they might not know how to do. They learn to work in a team, innovate, and most importantly to us, learn to work on cars. We already know one of the biggest innovations happening in the car industry right now is converting from gasoline to electric battery power. A big part of this innovation is the push to become more environmentally friendly and the fact that governments are pushing to eliminate gas-powered cars. If this innovation is happening today, though, in the future, technology will continue to advance, allowing us to not use batteries and take renewable energy straight from the source and power the car. My goal is to put our team at the forefront of the research and design for this technology. That is why we are starting the production of an electric battery-powered Formula-style race car, because most new implementations in the automotive industry are happening as innovations in the racing world first. Our project will start our young engineers not on a path of not only thinking about batteries, but about alternative energy solutions and sustainability. Young engineers also doesn't just mean people in college. It means K through 12 students who participate in STEM outreach who will now have the access at Miami to see the engineering behind an electric car. It'll also give our students the hard skills that are applicable in industry, and batteries are not. Understanding electricity is now a vital part of sustainability, renewable energy, and the daily lives of millions of people. Also, it'll bring Miami University into an innovative competition with other universities, which will create more draw to our engineering department and the university at large. The car will also produce more draw within the university, allowing students of all majors to get involved and get the firsthand teamwork experience employers are looking for. And not to mention, thinking of ways to decrease carbon emissions and the price of cars. So you'll be very thankful when you go to buy your electric car. We're looking for a donation of $20,000 in order to get this project up and running. We'll spend the money largely on the batteries and the electric motor. This money will help turn our dreams into a reality by providing dozens of students from all backgrounds with the skills and knowledge that they otherwise will not have. This new program will also allow us to challenge the stereotype of female engineers like myself lacking the hands-on skills needed for industry. And it'll give students who are unable to obtain summer internships the ability to function in a company-like environment and gain skills of teamwork, leadership, and other tools.
Our next presentation is Miami University Mentoring Program for Women and Minorities in STEM, presented by Catherine Almquist.
Hi, I'm Kathy Almquist. I'm a professor in the Chemical, Paper, and Biomedical Engineering department. So do you remember your first job? Were you excited, nervous, just like me? Well, I started at Miami 20 years ago, and I was both nervous and excited. I was the first woman faculty member to be hired in my department. So a new faculty member has so much to learn: how to write a syllabus, how to put a class up on Canvas, how to make it through the P&T process. That's the big one. Fortunately, my colleagues were very supportive and helped me through those first few years. But with time, I have watched changes at Miami. And things that change include the P&T expectations and process, and a little bit of culture, especially since COVID. So it seems like more now than ever, new faculty need a mentor. So that's why I'm here today. I'd like to start a formal mentoring program for faculty at Miami. And some will say, well, our department already assigns a faculty mentor, and that's true. And I have to ask, is it really true for all, though? Because some people are less apt to go ask questions. Some people are feeling like it would be burdensome to others if they asked for assistance. And feelings of isolation and exclusion are not uncommon, especially among women and minority faculty. So women and minority faculty, women and minorities are significantly underrepresented in STEM. Top 3 reasons why women specifically quit STEM careers: stress, burnout, and workplace culture. So some people feel as like they're not as respected as others, and some feel like they're overlooked. So how can we counter this? Peer mentoring is one evidence-based method for enhancing diversity in STEM. Key benefits of mentoring include improved morale, culture, and a sense of community and inclusiveness, and promotion of collaboration, peer and leadership development, among many others. So I would like to, I'm proposing a formal mentoring program for STEM faculty and STEM graduate students because they are our pipeline to faculty. I would like the mentors to be trained to have a formal curriculum for the mentees. I would like the mentors and mentees to meet at scheduled times during the academic year. Ideally, the program will result in an enhanced diversity in STEM through retention of faculty, support of graduate students, and an overall improvement of culture of inclusiveness. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Catherine. Next, we have Ceramics at Miami, presented by Sabrina Berlone. I'm sorry, I really messed that up. My apologies.
No, that's great. Bear alone is perfect. Thank you. Hi, good evening. My name is Sabrina Baralone. I am a non-traditional Masters of Fine Arts student receiving a specialty in ceramics. Previous to coming to Miami, I taught public art for 20 years. And one thing I noticed as a school teacher is that the history books that we looked at, the museums that we went to, lacked representations of the female students that we also represented. The facts of the matter is that currently 70% of our Bachelor of Fine Arts degree holding individuals are female. 65 to 75% of our Masters of Fine Arts studio art students are female as well. However, in 2019, when they surveyed 18 of the most prominent museums in the US, they found that only 13% of the artwork was representing females. So I am here today to ask for help in the ceramics department, a majority of our students being women, by funding tools of empowerment. These tools would include the purchase of an innovative technology, the XL PotterBot 10, a ceramic 3D printer, as well as artist talks and demonstrations by 2 highly established, internationally and nationally known female ceramicists, Tamia Tahani and Christina West. So the addition of the PotterBot would allow us at Miami to be involved in emerging technology that is already being practiced at other institutions. The PotterBot, it prints in raw clay instead of plastic filament. So that allows us rapid prototyping in a material that is traditionally a very slow material. So it allows us to experiment with our designs and proliferate our designs and ideas. And art has historically been exclusive to men. Prestigious art schools were closed to women, even through the Renaissance. So gaining the Potter bot is an empowering tool in positioning us in a claiming technological space. So also as a school teacher, I was working with marginalized population, and I did see the impact of having a visiting artist that represented the student population, and it was an impact. So by inviting nationally, internationally known female presenters, we will give ceramic department prolific role models that we can aspire to and we can see ourselves in. And we can also have personal conversations about our art and from living. Ultimately, is to steer Miami's ceramics program in a path that offers more innovative tools of empowerment through accessibility of innovative technology and exposure to highly to Miami Giving Circles for the opportunity to present this evening.
All right. Thank you, Sabrina. Next, we have Leadership Institute of Asian and Asian American Female Students for Social Justice, presented by Grace Koo.
Hello, everyone. My name is Grace Koo, and I'm here representing our team in proposing a Leadership Institute for Asian American female students. Growing up in Oxford, I was always the minority. Being the only Korean girl in my entire elementary school, I had so many questions about my identity and times where I felt like assimilating to American culture would make my life easier because my peers, teachers, and friends were white. This struggle and confusion with my identity continued and worsened throughout my adolescence, and it took me a very long time to come to terms with my Korean American identity. Me, along with so many others, have similar stories, and I've always wished for a mentor figure to who I can look up to and relate to. Now that I'm in college, I was able to solidify my identity by joining Asian student organizations, including AAFSL. This is a group of Asian American female students who are passionate about leadership and social justice. Being part of the mere 2.5% of the Asian undergraduate population here at Miami University, according to the Office of Admissions, I was worried about being marginalized and isolated. However, this group provided me a safe space to voice my concerns, experiences, and struggles as an Asian woman in a predominantly white community. Although I'm so thankful to have found this group in college, I still look back and wish for a supportive community like this growing up. In order to make this wish reality, our team proposes a leadership program of AAFS. This institute is open to anyone that wants to support minority students like me and wants to take action for social justice and education. If given the opportunity to pursue this project, we will initiate multiple community outreach programs, including tutoring and mentoring for local K-12 students, because we believe that it should not be rare for young girls to be able to find a space to talk about their identity and their struggles as a minority. We will also create networking opportunities with Asian female professionals, educators, and leaders in our community and beyond. And lastly, we would like to hold workshops on identity development, professional development, and also attend national conferences to share and spread our impact. We strongly believe that starting the conversation is the first important step in making change, and amplifying the voices of minority women is the first step. And why not start right here in Oxford? We invite you to join us in planting the seed for future female leaders and making this world a more vibrant and diverse place. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Grace. Next, we have Shared Equity Leadership, Women of Color Thriving in a PWI, presented by Takia Howard.
Good evening. You cannot be what you cannot see. All of us rely on images to inform us of who we are and what our potential is. And without these images, we cannot see who we cannot be. Overall professional fields, women of color continue to be underrepresented. As professorships, 1.6% are Black women, 2.1% are Latinx women. As far as administrators, 7% are Black, 3% Latinx, and 2% Asian. There are three things that are very important for women of color to advance in their agencies or entities, as well as to stay there. One is mentoring, networking, and connection. If these things are absent, women of color will first question the entity's commitment to DEI and then leave and seek opportunities outside that organization. We here have an opportunity to create a space where women of color can get mentorship, connection, and network. Through a 2-year initiative, leadership development initiative, that center women of color's leadership experiences at Miami University to learn and grow as leaders. Shared equity leadership, women of color thriving at a PWI will invite 50 women of color on campus. 25 faculty and staff will be invited to join us in a 2-year commitment. And in the second year, we'll invite our graduate and undergraduate students to join us to continue to build community and leadership skills. Throughout this process, we'll focus on 3 primary areas: relational, building trust, learning how to deal with tension, challenging the status quo, understanding how to disrupt, engage, and ask questions, and structural, implementing systems of accountability, as well as learning to make decisions through an equity lens. Each cohort will both meet jointly and separately. However, when we gather together, we will focus on mentorship tables as well as education from keynote speakers, workshops, and mentorship. Through the power of mentorship, women of color at Miami University will develop a network as well as mentorship. This initiative is also important as a retention effort, as women of color have a support network as well as learn and grow together. Representation and community is important for people of color, for people with marginalized identities for success. We are asking for $20,000 to support 50 women of color in our community in advancing DEI and shared equity leadership at Miami University. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Takia. Next, we have the Democracy Bus presented by Molly Duffy.
When I was a senior in high school, my AP American Studies class and I decided to march to the polls. We took a 20-minute walk from my high school to our early polling place. In Ohio, there's only one early voting place per county, which is the Board of Elections. If I were to take a drive to the Board of Elections from Miami University, it would take about 35 minutes, or according to Google, a 5-hour-long walk. If I were to take public transportation, it would take 2 buses in an hour and a half. Hence, it's essential to have a car in order to vote early if you're a Miami University student. There comes in the idea, the Democracy Bus. I'm requesting $7,000 to transport 423 students over 3 different elections over the next 2 years to help them vote early in Butler County. The funding for this idea mostly comes from the transportation costs to send students from Miami University to the Board of Elections. 15% goes towards advertising, whether that be screens in Armstrong or flyers across campus, and 12% goes towards food costs. As students may be waiting in long lines at the polls, they do need to be well fed and nourished in order to vote. As a co-founder of a woman-run civic engagement organization called Red Hawks Count, we spend every single day working towards civic engagement initiatives. We actually earned our first ever voter-friendly campus designation this year, our last one being received in 2016. We spend every single week tabling for voter registration in Armstrong, as well as passing out voter information through our Instagram Red Hawks Count, as well as throughout campus. This idea is essential for students. One of our members actually created a survey earlier this year that surveyed 282 members. We found that 60% of students found that classes and course content are barriers in voting in person on election day. Therefore, offering the option to vote early in person is essential for students. With Oxford being the 5th most densely populated college town in America, the student vote here is critical. This idea would offer a means and ways for students to vote in person. Regarding the new Ohio voting laws passed in House Bill 458, this opportunity would allow students to vote in person or submit their absentee ballots at the Board of Elections if they don't have the proper photo identification to vote in person. Whether you are sitting on the left side of the bus or sitting on the right side of the bus, this idea is here to support everybody. Don't fuss, vote for the bus. Thank you.
Thank you, Molly. Next, we have Nursing Peer Tutoring Program presented by Ganesha Ogle.
What if you showed up at the hospital and there were no nurses to care for you? What if you were the victim of a preventable medical error that was caused by short-staffed nursing? The reality of these questions are in our current and near future. The pandemic saw 100,000 nurses leave the workforce and an additional 800,000 plan to leave by 2027. Coupled with the 800,000 more nurses that we need, we're looking at a deficit of 1.6 million by 2030. The pandemic has also negatively impacted our students, leaving them unprepared for the rigors of college. This has led to failing grades and course withdrawals. Now, given that nursing is considered one of the harder baccalaureate degrees to obtain, we want to help our students be successful. However, there are currently no nursing-specific tutoring at the university and no funding for them. In the fall of 2022, 13 out of 67 nursing students at the regional campus were unsuccessful. This means that an unprecedented 19.4% of them would not continue on with their cohort. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that they shouldn't be nurses, but rather that they need more support and resources to help them overcome the barriers that they have in their life. We need to retain these students. We would like to institute peer tutoring at the regional campus among our sophomore nursing courses. Peer tutoring has been proven to retain students and to help with program completion. We are asking for $5,136 that we could hire up to 6 peer tutors for the fall of 23 health assessment course and 6 peer tutors for the spring of 24 fundamentals course. This would allow us to pay them $12 an hour, which is the current going rate. It will give them 2 hours of training and then pay them for 4 hours a week over the course of the semester. In one study, peer tutoring was helpful in reducing attrition rates from 12% to 3%. Peer tutoring has also been shown to help with critical thinking skills, problem solving, communication, enhanced leadership for not only the tutee, but also the tutor. Imagine if we were able to reduce attrition by 9%, that's 6 students that we'd be able to keep in the cohort. It's 6 students that would get to realize their dream of becoming a nurse. It's $84,000 that would remain at Miami University upon degree completion. And it's 6 more nurses at the bedside to care for you and your loved ones. We need your help to end the nursing shortage by helping us retain our valuable students who will one day be amazing nurses, but they need your help to get there.
Thank you, Kanisha. WE23 Conference Los Angeles will be next, and it'll be presented by Marguerite Smith.
Here at Miami University, women make up just 22% of the College of Engineering and Computing. That already low ratio is reduced to just 15% in the workforce. What prevents the number of female engineers from rising is a lack of support throughout their careers. I'm here today in front of you representing the Society of Women Engineers, but I'll refer to that as SWE. SWE is a driving force that establishes engineering as a highly desirable career for women and empowers women to succeed. SWE is a national organization with locations and chapters at almost every university and many corporate resource groups. Whether it be as a SWE-STER or a SWALI, all College of Engineering majors are welcome. We want the narrative at Miami University to reflect that women in engineering are supported by the college and by organizations such as SWE. We believe that WE23, the largest engineering conference for women, is an experience at the forefront of this mission. WE23 seeks to empower women in engineering by letting them live without limits. Thousands of female engineers and allies attend professional development seminars to build knowledge over a period of time. The event gives attendees opportunity long-term, and it's the hottest career fair engineering with hundreds of companies seeking diverse talent. We have sent representatives to the conference for the last 4 years, and it's one of the most rewarding experiences for our members. I was lucky enough to go the last 2 years, and I came home with a lot of internship offers from all around the country and a lot of new connections. We want to establish Miami University as a competitive engineering program of the highest caliber that emphasizes the importance of female industry success. We are hoping to send at least 4 of our members this year with the money that we have requested. Previous conferences were closer, easier to attend, more local. This year, our organization is also very young, with a leadership team going into next year comprised mostly of freshmen. I would love to be able to take them to their first conference and lead them to future success. That is why SWE needs your help so that we too are able to live without limits. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Marguerite. Next, we have Miami University Dolaboy European Center English Learner Summer Camp, presented by Lauren Dole.
Bonjour, je suis ravie de faire votre connaissance. Again, I say, bonjour, je suis ravie de faire votre connaissance. Now, if you don't speak French, this common Luxembourg phrase probably did not make sense to you, but I'm here to show you how learning a new language is an important and powerful investment. So first, many of you may know, bonjour means hello. The next 2 words, je suis, translate to I am. So I am a representative of Miami University's English Language Learner Camp in Luxembourg. Each year, Miami sends 10 new students to the International School of Differendage and Esch to provide 2 weeks of English language programming to elementary students. As future teachers, we share the goal of empowering our students to improve their English language and cultural understanding of America. This leads us to our next word, ravi, which means pleased or excited. As future teachers, we are excited for this irreplaceable opportunity that challenges us to work with new students and encourages us to learn new practices of a different educational culture. The Luxembourg students are equally as excited for this program because they get to learn different aspects of a new culture through 4 different English language classes per day at camp. We help create this excitement through our next word, faire, which means to make. We make a difference for these students. We provide them with a foundation of the English language, which is important because English is the most popular second learned language in the world. So that means it is often the only shared language among large groups of diverse people. Luxembourg is a European country surrounded on all sides by many different languages, so the ability to speak English is an important and powerful tool for these students. A powerful tool for us is the next word, votre, which means you. You have the power to create real change with these students. The Minister of Education in Luxembourg has expressed the importance of growing our program because each year, within 3 to 5 days of opening registration, all of the spots are gone. Unfortunately, we do not have the funding to provide more Miami student teachers the ability to go, leaving both Miami and Luxembourg students without access to this educational opportunity. That is why we are requesting $20,000 over 2 years to help make this happen. This leads us to our final word, connaissance, which means acquaintance. Your support will allow us to grow our program in Miami and in Luxembourg. It will allow us to bring more Miami student teachers to camp no matter their financial circumstances. Your support will allow us to grow our program in Luxembourg to support more than 80 Luxembourg students and help us grow our acquaintances and connections in the Luxembourg community and school. This camp quite literally opens up a world of possibilities for the Miami students and Luxembourg students. So, again, I say, bonjour, je suis ravi de faire votre connaissance, which we now know translates to, hello, I'm pleased to meet you, which is most certainly true. Thank you for your time today.
All right. Merci, Laurent, et bientôt. And the next is a Social Justice Internship Program presented by Mark Cornett.
Do you remember the questions you asked yourself when you were here at Miami as students? What will I major in? What if I change my major? Will I find somebody special? How will I change the world? That was a question I asked myself when I was a student here. And I'm heartened all these years later, now that I'm teaching social justice courses here, that so many of my students have that same burning question in their minds. How will I change the world? We talk about that in our classrooms. We talk about inequality. We talk about racism. We talk about sexism. We talk about religious intolerance, poverty. We talk about how all of these are social constructs. That's the good news. They can be undone. We can make things better. The other thing we've been doing since January of 2020 is offering a social justice internship program residentially in Cincinnati. Our students live in affordable housing. Nothing fancy, but it's safe and sanitary. An apartment building on Race Street near Washington Park. The location is marvelous because most of the students then are able to walk to where they are working for those 3 weeks of J-term. They go to the Free Store Food Bank where they work in the SNAP program. They go to a public health clinic where they interview patients about social determinants of health. They walk downtown to one of 3 nonprofit public interest law firms where they have direct contact with returning citizens, where they talk with refugees and immigrants, where they work with people who are living in poverty and have nowhere else to turn. We've had 47 students go through this program already. The one problem that we have is money. We have self-funded this for more than $60,000 the first 4 years. I'm asking for $9,000 tonight, which would pay the rent and offer a food stipend for our January cohort, which will be another 12 to 15 students. They talk about how these are life-changing experiences that give them clarity, that help them decide whether to go to law school or go directly to work in a nonprofit. One student I'll never forget was in our first cohort named David. Grew up in poverty in Columbus. He worked at a community action agency in the utility assistance program. He would go into apartments that had no heat in the middle of winter. He came back to me one day and said, you know, Mark, it reminds me of how I grew up. He's now doing that work in Columbus and planning to go to law school. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Next, a golden time Ohio women artist at the turn of the century, presented by Jason Shaman.
Thank you. So in 1887, Miami University's administration first made a resolution to allow women to study here. Now, when you think about what's going on 136 years later, it's pretty amazing. Women make up more than 56% of the student body on the Oxford campus. Now, in 1887, what was also happening in this country, in this state, is that women were fighting for another form of advocacy and equality in the art world because they were denied education in institutions where the male dominated people were saying women should only paint pretty pictures to decorate. They should not be doing anything as a vocation. It should simply be an avocation. Well, these women were fighting against that. And now it's absolutely amazing when you think about the rise of artists today. Even as an art historian, I'm in the minority as a male today. Now, what we are working on at the Art Museum is this exhibition coming up in the fall semester, Ohio Women Artists at the Turn of the Century. And A Golden Time is going to explore this rise, and it's going to explore some amazing stories. So, for example, is anyone familiar with Rookwood Pottery in Cincinnati? Anybody know? It was founded by a woman. And that woman put American art ceramics and Cincinnati on the international map in 1876 at the World's Fair. These were the kinds of activities that these women were bringing to the art world. And these are some of the stories we're going to share. Amazingly, our collection at the museum, we have 118 works by Annette Covington, who was the first woman to graduate from the Western College for Women with a 4-year degree. So what we are asking for is funding support, $3,726, which is going to go towards helping fund the exhibition, programming, promotion costs, and we are going to bring in an art historian and an independent curator to speak at the museum on this topic with Miami's professor of history, Kimberly Hamlin, at the museum. These are some of the stories that we're going to be telling through this exhibition, and we really want to use it as an opportunity to demonstrate the significant contributions that women are making, not just to beautify their homes, but to people like Nancy Holt, who has artwork behind the museum. She a major, major figure. These are the kinds of people that have paved the way for any woman who is a student in the Department of Art today at Miami. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Jason. Next, Agricultural Robotics Lab, presented by Bradley Gartner.
Hello, as you already heard, my name is Bradley Gartner. I am the president of the Robotics Club. And if you're wondering what I'm about to talk about, you've guessed right. I'll be talking about robotics today. So, robotics has the opportunity to revolutionize the world. And Miami is trying to give students the opportunity to get hands-on experience with robotics by creating the robotics engineering program. However, because the program is still very new in its initial stages, they unfortunately lack the opportunities to give students those hands-on experiences that they really need to succeed for their future goals. In return, to tackle this problem, we created the Robotics Club to give students of all skill levels the opportunities that they need to get hands-on learning opportunities through either hands-on projects to independent research. The issue that we are having now is that we don't have the appropriate tools needed to expand our club and give students the opportunities that they deserve for their future. And that's where we can get your help of being able to get the tools that we need to make the club better and have more hands-on opportunities for the students. For instance, with your support, we are looking to acquire 3D printers, which can allow us to develop parts for any robots we want to design, as well as teaching students the skills of 3D modeling and additive manufacturing. In addition, we're hoping to get robotics kits to get students new to the field to learn about the capabilities of robotics, as well as being to build up their experiences to help with even higher level projects that we want to design for our students. In addition, not only can we help the students that want to participate in robotics, but we can even help the robotics engineering program by being able to show off to potential future students on how we're one of the few universities that offers an undergraduate robotics engineering program while offering numerous hands-on opportunities through the Robotics Club. So as you can see, we're trying to help students and the university, but we also want to help the community as well. That's where agriculture comes in, where we're trying to work with the university's Institute for Food on doing research on how we can implement robotics into the field of agriculture. This will help farmers being able to grow food at lower costs as well as in more environmentally friendly way, which is beneficial because it helps the community around Miami because the food that we grow, we either sell or donate to community members. So by helping out the students, faculty, the university, and also the community through the food that we want to help grow at Miami's Institute for Food, we can create a robotics program that offers more opportunities than the other universities that offer a robotics engineering program at the undergraduate level. And with your support, we can turn this dream into reality and give robotics a bright future here at Miami. Thank you.
Thanks, Bradley. All right. Next, we have Camp Kesem Magic, presented by Katie.
Cancer sucks, and I'd like to tell you a story about that. Freckles, Flash, and 2, and their dad was diagnosed with cancer. In a time of stress, confusion, and anxiety, these kids were able to attend a free summer camp with their peers, to play games, to use camp names like Freckles, Flash, and Lightning, and to just be a kid for a week. I'd like to tell you another story about a freshman who joined a student org because she liked their motto, Cancer Sucks, and ran for a leadership position and became a development coordinator, only to realize she had no idea what a development coordinator did. But through the enthusiasm, support, and leadership development of that org is now speaking in front of 100 people to get them to invest in their mission. Camp Kesem is a group of passionate student leaders motivated by that motto of Cancer Sucks to provide year-round support to children affected by a family member's cancer. And as I wrote this speech, I wanted to focus on an essence of Kesem, but I couldn't decide between leadership or community. And it was through this that I realized that Kesem is about developing leadership for community. We learn hard skills like Google spreadsheets and grant applications by actually applying to grants like this one. We learn teamwork, about finding joy in struggles, and about the benefits of collaboration, bringing together social work, education, STEM, business, finance, speech pathology, and language majors for an intercurricular approach at creating community and making a difference. We learn how to run successful fundraisers, but most importantly, we learn how to use these fundraisers as a way to bring people together over something larger than themselves. Your money will go towards our Leadership Summit, a chance to workshop with student leaders across the country on how we create this community for kids and families in our home states. The rest will go towards supplying some of our smaller fundraisers, like our hot cocoa sale or our Cancer Sucks paint water balloon sale, where we literally take cancer and cover it in paint and color. And though these fundraisers make just a small percentage of our overall goal, they do something much more important. And that's make Kesem a community for Miami students and staff, for Oxford businesses and citizens, and for everyone who agrees that cancer sucks. And this mission of using leadership to develop community is something we'll take far beyond our undergraduate experience. It's something we'll take into our careers, our personal lives, and our future communities. And it's a mission that you can be a part of, because cancer sucks, but community is everything. So we want you to be a part of the Kesem magic. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Youth Voices, Youth Writing, OWP Youth Writing Camp, presented by Beth Reimer.
Thank you. So I got an email from a mom whose daughter was going to be coming to Miami University to study English. I kind of thought she was emailing me maybe to like find out which English classes to take or maybe what life was like on campus, but it wasn't any of that. She was emailing me to thank me for the Ohio Writing Project Youth Writing Camp. See, because her daughter had taken the writing camp, and at that time she became a confident writer and fell in love with Miami University. My name is Beth Reimer, and I'm the co-director of the Ohio Writing Project. OWP is a site of the National Writing Project here at Miami University. We primarily work with K-12 student teachers. We go out to schools and do professional development. We create credit workshops and conferences. We run the Masters of Arts in Teaching program. We do a lot of good stuff. But we saw something missing. We knew that we needed a space for young people to write. I mean, there were camps everywhere, right? There's football camp and soccer camp and esports camp and Lego camp. What about a writing camp? Like a writing camp, not like horses, but like writing, like notebooks and pencils and words. What is a writing camp anyway? So a writing camp looks like young students spread out in bachelor on the grass, under the courtyard, filling their notebooks with ideas and words and laughter. It looks like teenagers sitting in a circle, sharing spoken word poetry, their next chapter in their novel, their voice in the world. It looks like counselors sitting next to these young writers, honing their writing craft, creating revision stations, building confidence. And honestly, it looks a lot like sidewalk chalk, graffiti, ice cream sundaes, and SDS pizza, actually, right? So the Ohio Writing Project is asking for $20,000 to use over 2 years to support the Ohio Writing Project Youth Writing Camps, grades 5 through 8 and 9 through 12. These funds will help us create a safe space for young writers. You know, the writing camp stuff, t-shirts, notebooks, resources, rec center rental, and that ice cream and pizza I mentioned. Most importantly, it'll provide scholarships for young students, covering the $200 to make it more accessible for more students to find that space. Students who want to write, students who love to write, students who need to write. Who knows? Maybe in 5 or 6 years, I'll get another email from a parent whose child chose Miami University because way back in the summer of 2023, they took a writing camp. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Beth. Keeping the Door Open, ODCC Phase 2, presented by Greta Heinzelman.
Joy, just joy, is how my best friend described wearing a chest binder for the first time. Gender diverse students face unique challenges and barriers when trying on and purchasing clothing. Strict gendered clothing sections and feeling othered in the public eye can make students in transition feel even more vulnerable and anxious. Students whose gender identities and presentations differ from the norm often face intensified scrutiny, discrimination, and violence on college campuses. And these compounding experiences negatively affect students here at Miami. The Open Doors Clothes Closet is a free clothing resource for transgender and gender diverse students. And since its opening in the fall of 2021, the ODCC has been a huge success. One student said, "Every single thing about it gave me so much, like more than just the clothes, but genuine comfort in my body." Testimonials like this really speak to the need for this campus resource. And while the ODCC has been extremely beneficial to students, we still have student needs going unmet. 70% of students said they were hoping to find chest binders at their appointment, and 92% of students said they would be interested in gender-affirming underwear being offered in the ODCC. We are also seeing an increase in the number of students who are interested in but unable to purchase gender-affirming prosthetics due to social and financial barriers. The demand for these items is so great that we are having to turn students away because we do not offer them. Chest binders have been found to decrease symptoms of suicidality, anxiety, and dysphoria, to increase self-esteem and confidence, and to improve students' perceptions of their ability to go out safely in public. given that transgender students are at high risk for discrimination, including verbal and physical aggression. The access to adequate clothing options is imperative for their safety. With your financial assistance, we would love to be able to offer these much needed products in the ODCC. We are requesting $4,820 to purchase products for over 100 students. Again, we view this expansion as imperative for ensuring student comfort, safety, and confidence on campus. The Open Door Close Closet has been so successful and done so much for our students. And together, we can do even more. Together, we can keep the door open. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Greta. Next, we have sexual wellness products, equitable practices, and education presented by Sawyer Fedorenko.
College offers students the opportunity to explore many different things. You have your student organizations, your majors, your minors, and your sexuality. In fact, a recent report from the National College Health Association stated that over half of college students reported engaging in sexual activities 12 months prior to the survey. The reality is, college students are engaging in sexual activity, but the important part is that they're doing it safely. On Miami University's campus, we do have some access to sexual wellness products, such as external condoms, dental dams, and lubricant. However, there is a lack of access and knowledge surrounding internal condoms, which is a sexual wellness product that all students can use to practice safe sex. Now, if you were to go to an info session about safe sex on campus, you will find that internal condoms are typically not the focus. Rather, it is external condoms. They're properly demonstrated, they're never out of date, and there are plenty for students to take home. Internal condoms, like I said, do not get the same treatment. They're usually not present, they're not demonstrated, or if they are, they're demonstrated improperly, and they are usually expired because students just don't know about them. Now, why internal condoms? They empower people with vulvas to take control of their sexual wellness and their sexual activities without relying on a partner to bring an external condom into the situation. It also, unfortunately, we do have to think about these things still. It allows folks to use them as safety measures before going out for the evening. If a woman wanted to go hang out with some friends for the evening, she could place an internal condom about a couple hours before heading out, and it would be perfectly safe to do so. Along with empowerment and safety measures, internal condoms are fantastic at preventing unwanted pregnancy and STIs, just like external condoms. Now, let's say we're able to get this grant and we purchase 2,000 condoms, internal condoms, for the Miami community. Those would be immediately distributed across campus, so we have that immediate impact. And then we are also hoping to purchase materials to create education and programming, as well as a vulva anatomy demonstrator, so that we can properly show people how to use internal condoms safely, so that they are effective, and so that we can help them understand that it is equitable, right? People deserve to have a choice in how they engage in sexual activities, because the reality is they are engaging in sexual activities. The impact of this grant for such a small amount of $4,000 is huge, because we have that immediate impact. And then right after, we're able to keep educating people for several years after. With your assistance, we can continue that impact for many years to come. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sawyer. And last, we have Muettes, Expanding Writing Opportunities, presented by Hannah Smith.
Hello, everybody. My name is Hannah Schmidt. Thank you all for coming here today. I'm going to be talking about expanding opportunities with MUET, aka Miami's equestrian team, and what that would mean for us. So our barn has been filled with dedicated horsemen and also amazing horses for the last 65 years. And while the facility has transformed and changed, I'd love to say that the bonds that can continue to grow exactly the same since day one. One of my fellow teammates told me just the other day how the Miami Barn is what made her feel at home and gave her a place to be on campus and really fall in love with this school. And she also mentioned how it gave her friends that she knows will last a lifetime. The best part about this sentiment is that not only have I seen it in every rider on our team, but I've also been able to experience it myself. So about our team, Miami's equestrian team has 60 horses and over 110 riders on our team competing in 3 different disciplines: dressage, hunt seat, and western. And while we all ride different styles, we are one big team with passion for horses and honing our horsemanship skills. Something also super interesting about our team is that we come from a very wide range of variety of skill sets when we get here. So we have people that are very competitive in the A circuit show jumpers versus people that are beginners to the sport. And also important to note, in order to compete in our club division, we need riders of all levels. So just last year in 2022, Miami University's hunt seat team was reserve national champions at the IHSA National Horse Show. So anyone that knows about horses knows that the expenses that come with it. To be on our team and to be a competing member, members must pay between $1,700 and $2,000 a semester. So these dues include instructional fees, travel for horse shows, and also class entry fees. So we are asking the women in Hawk Tank for $1,000 because we want to create and curate new need-based scholarships for our team and for our members. As college students, finances can be difficult, and we want to make sure that everyone that has a passion and interest in riding has the ability to do so as well. I have firsthand seen students come to our informational meetings and not be able to ride on the team because of the expenses, and our goal is to continue having new members added every year and ensure that our current members can maintain their status on the team. As a senior and current exec member on MUET, I can honestly say that this team, the coaches, and the horses have changed my life over the last 4 years. It's an instant friend group, an unwavering support system, and honestly one of the best places on this campus. And what I want the most is to have everyone that has a passion and love for horses to experience MUET the way that I have been able to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Let's have another big round of applause for all of our presenters. They did an amazing job, and they were all truly worthy initiatives and impressive presentations. As you saw, the need is great, and we do hope to double the contributions for next year to meet that growing need. We all know how we can do that. So now I would like to ask Emily Berry, Assistant Vice President of Annual Giving, to walk us through the important next phase, casting our votes.
Thank you, Renata. Telling a story in such an impactful way to a group of this size is not an easy thing to do. So thank you all to our presenters and congratulations on such an accomplishment. I also want to thank Professor Beth Troy for the time that she spent with our presenters, prepping them for this evening. At this time, we now ask our Giving Circle members to vote on your top funding priorities. Please check your email for a link to access the online voting form. And should you need any assistance, please feel free to find me and my colleague Amy at our table back here, and we will be happy to help. Voting closes at 9 p.m. tonight. We'll tabulate our votes and announce the grant recipients at tomorrow's Leadership Symposium. Thanks again for attending, and please remember to cast your votes and have a great night. Thank you.